What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here with another VOD review of set 9.5. This is another one of my own games that I played on the PvE server, and it's also a game with a new galaxy. This is Finn's Market. So if you guys haven't seen this one, if you haven't played on PvE yet, basically what happens is twice during the game, I think it's sort of random when during the game, like it can be at different stages, Finn, the shopkeeper, shows up and gives you an item inventory that you can take an item from. Like you opened a tome, or I always call them tomes, but what are they called? Anvil. Like you open an anvil. They can be radiant items, they can be support items, they can be normal items. I think those are the three options. Not 100% sure. I know for a fact we got radiant items this game, and then I forget what the second one was. But yeah, let's see what happens this game. It's a pretty interesting game. Oh yeah, there you go. So okay, so yeah, you can get artifacts, which are like Ornn items and some Goldmancer items, support or radiant items, and completed items as well. So yeah, and yeah, it's twice per game, but it's sort of random when. So yeah, I see this opener here. I see that I have Cho'Gath 2, Renekton, Malzahar, also the Cassiopeia pair. So I'm thinking like, okay, we can maybe play around some kind of AP opener. I forget to pre-level because I haven't even been playing Caitlyn very much. I sort of like forgot all my Caitlyn stuff. But I do get Caitlyn. I pick up Stars Are Born here. I want to buy something here because I have this Cassiopeia that's just sitting in my shop that I can make Cassio 2 with. So what I opt to do here is, maybe you see this line. I already have Cho'Gath 2. I say, you know what? Why not? We're on PvE. Let's have some fun. Let's do a Cho Bite'em game. For, people who are not initiated, Cho Bite'em is the Cho'Gath reroll comp. Hasn't really been very good on live servers. However, in the most recent patch on live, which of course carried over to PvE as well, they did buff Cho's scaling with his HP. It went from like 10% to 12%, the scaling of his own HP on his ult's damage, which is really solid. So now Cho Bite'em is a little bit more of a threat. I played a game last night where Doruwaza, noted TFT memer and sometimes god of TFT, played Cho Bite'em and absolutely demolished the entire lobby. So I think, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's a PvE diff, but Cho Bite'em definitely seems to have some strength in this set. It's also quite nice that Shrima is now a 2-4, whatever it is, 2-4-6, and maybe it's 2-4-6-8. Because now you can really easily fit in just like Cassiopeia plus Renekton as duo carries just to play on the board. So that's what we're going to do here. And then I hold on to the Malzahar just in case I hit some Malzahars, but I already have 4 Cassiopeias. And I start realizing, like, okay, maybe we're actually just going to play around Cassio carry as opposed to the Malzahar carry that we've seen people do in the past. And honestly, no spoilers, but it went decently. I don't really want to slam any items here. I thought about slamming the Titans for a sec, but I feel like Cho's a pretty poor user of Titans. It takes him so long to stack it just because he doesn't have any like attack speed increase or anything like that. And you also don't really want him taking aggro because he's not that much of a tank. So yeah, I don't think it really makes sense to hold Titans on him. I would really like some kind of super tank item here, like Redemption is really solid. I'm also looking at all the new like item components. Like, do I want a Night Harvester on him? No. Do I want a Crown Guard or whatever it is? Maybe. I guess we'll see as the game goes on. I don't know why. I think it's just whenever I move, sometimes, yeah, the camera blurs out. But yeah, Cho Bite'em game. So we are going to try to stay as low level as possible, slam the Redemption. The reason why Redemption is so good on a unit like Cho is because the heal pulse scales with your HP. So Cho is going to scale up, 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 get a ton of HP, and the heal pulse is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. They also changed Redemption this set, where it's no longer an anti-AoE item, it's now just an anti-damage item. I'm pretty sure all the units that get hit by it get like 12% damage reduction or something like that. So yeah, a little bit different of an item here. I see another Cassiopeia, and I want to hold the Mouse as well, but I know like I can only make 40 if I hold on to Cassiopeias. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to hold on to the Cassios. I already have 5 of them, and I only have 2 Mouses. So like if I had to choose between Cassio and Mouse here, I would definitely choose Cassio. Also, I'd really like to ideally win this fight, keep my 3 streak here, but it tends to be pretty hard to 3 streak, or yeah, 3 streak while on level 4, and we fight, sadly, a level 5 board that's pretty decent. Honestly, this fight's not even that, not even that bad. If we had an item on Cassio, we would surely win this, but we didn't. We have these random Titan components, so nothing to be built there. As far as my last Stars Are Born units, I'm definitely thinking Vi in this position. I can just play around like 4 Bruiser. There's also an idea of like a Soraka for Invoker. You could also, I was looking at the Shrima units. You could take Nefiri, which is a new Shrima unit. You could take Talia, but yeah, I think Vi is the one that I want the most in this situation here. But yeah, we get a lot of gold here. I'm trying to figure out what my items are going to be. ZZ Rod is now Gnasher's Tooth, which is a pretty interesting item. And yeah, just look at this shop. Already 2 Chos. I opt to just not buy the other units because I'm like, I don't really want this other stuff. But yeah, I immediately hit Cho 3 very quickly. And then a double Cassiopeia shop. Honestly, just like pretty good item RNG, or shop RNG. But yeah, so what I opt to do here is slam Shojin plus this new Gnasher's Tooth item. If you haven't seen Gnasher's Tooth, the way it works is when your unit casts, they get a burst of attack speed for like 5 seconds or something like that. So it seems pretty decent with something like Cassiopeia. I like Jewel Lotus here a lot, but I roll and hit Bruiser Heart, and I say, okay, I kind of have to take Bruiser Heart here. Getting to an early 6 Bruiser is so nice in a comp like this. And it also gives me the guaranteed Vi, but then I end up getting Vi and shop anyway. But yeah, like there's actually not that much to play here. We really want to get the Sejuanian and get 6 Bruiser, but we don't have her yet, so we just have to play this 5 Bruiser board. I'd love to get like an Invoker into this board, but I also don't have any of that, so we're just gonna play this board. But yeah, I'm not the like most crazy about the build that I end up going on Cassiopeia here. The downside is that like she doesn't she's gonna cast a lot, but she's not gonna have a lot of damage. The upside is Cassio is a unit that likes repeat casting a lot. That's the idea behind this build, is sort of like a, if you ever seen Cassiopeia play in like regular League, it's a lot like that actually. You know, Cassiopeia just repeat cast, and then she's going to get that extra damage on her ability when she wounds the target. So she's gonna cast, wound them, and then cast, hit the wounded target, cast, hit the wounded target, and it's gonna be good, I think. So that's at least the idea. The downside is I'd really like something like a JG to finish out her build so that she can actually do some damage, because you see each cast here is not that much damage. But I mean, honestly, the Cassiopeia 3 early on in the game, we dealt 3k damage there and chose also supplementing the damage. It's not bad. The other upside to this build is that now we get to make an item out of this chain vest, which I really wanted to be a bramble vest here. I think bramble vest seems insane in this position. And there is the crown guard or whatever it is, but I can't end up taking either of those, so I have to go for gargoyles, which I think is fine. It's not the best item on Cho because you don't really want to like solo frontline Cho because he just will potentially die. But I kind of have to do that here to get gargoyle value, and like the upside is that, you know, he's a bruiser. Getting the gargoyle value onto a unit with a ton of HP is just really good. You know, I've said this a million times. You know, like HP scales with armor and MR, armor and R scales with HP. So, you know, like Cho that has infinite HP, basically, you really just want to give him a lot of armor and MR so he can go off. And I mean, just look at him go off. Not only is he taking like no damage, but he's just eating the entire board. Dealt 2,300 damage in this fight. For a fight that went that quickly and against a pretty weak board who doesn't have a ton of HP, it is not bad at all. So yeah, this is our setup at this point. I wanted to level there just because it's literally free because of how much gold we have from Stars Are Born and our streak. There wasn't really anything to level. We're just going to go like a fast 7, try to find a slightly stronger version of this board. All I really need is like 1 Sejuani and 1 Invoker, and then we're sort of off to the races. This is probably the scariest person for us to fight. They are level 7. They do randomly have Piltover in, which is our saving grace here, because Piltover obviously is just like it's not going to do anything here. So we do end up beating them and continuing our 5 streak, which is really good. So yeah, you can see the power of new Cho'Gath, of Cassiopeia 3, which I don't know if she got any changes. I had the patch notes open. Do I still have them open? I don't, so I can't go check. I don't believe she got any changes, but maybe if she did, that, you know, makes the comp even better. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we just want to push level 7. I want to roll here to find just something to add here. I do find 4 Shurima, and that's probably good enough to stop for now. I did really want to find a Sejuani, and so like I keep rolling here, but I think this is probably a mistake. Like the board should be stable on 4 Shurima in this position. The only downside is that like 4 Shurima is not that good. Also, we build this new item here, which is I keep blanking on the name, like Crown Guard or something like this. The way this works is at the start of the combat, you get a big shield, like 30% of your max HP, and then after the shield expires, you get flat AP, so you get like 40 AP or something like that. Seems like a pretty decent item on this big guy, on Cho'Gath. We get another Bruiser's mat, but there is no 6 Bruiser, so that seems like kind of useless to take. You do see also that we're like holding on to these Vi's. We can look for Vi 3 this game, which will be a nice addition to the board. But yeah, like the downside here is that like I would much prefer to play 6 Bruiser than 4 Shurima, because 4 Shurima doesn't really do anything. It just allows all my Shurimans to ascend. But on a Zir 1, that's not really anything. Like all I really care about is Cassiopeia. There is a little bit of an ascension bonus. I also at this point, now that I have Cho 3, decide to start frontlining Cho, especially so that he can get maximum value out of that Crown Guard or whatever it's called shield. So yeah. Oh, also to the Shrima's Legacy, I really just felt like I was low damage this game, with just carrying Cho and Cassio and like infinite frontline. So I really wanted to just grab an augment that was gonna give me some more damage. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like looking at like other units I could potentially add in here, but it's like, I could add this Bell Claws, but I'm not really confident that that's any better. I'm pretty sure it's actually worse. So yeah, we don't really add anything in this just our board. The only slightly sus thing about this board is we have no MR Shred. And I feel like MR Shred, especially now that we have Shrima's Legacy, is going to be pretty valuable. There's also a very, very strong board that we end up fighting here. It's a really, really close fight that we end up just barely winning with Cassiopeia dealing like 7,000 damage. But yeah, I really want like a static Shiv that I can throw in a unit, or maybe like some kind of Bionic Spark that I can throw in another unit. I end up, I think, taking this tier here for static Shiv to... Oh yeah, it can either be static Shiv or it can just be like an Archangels or some kind of AP item for Cassiopeia. Ideally, we don't want like a blue buff or something. But yeah, we get the Finn's shop here, which is 4 Radiant items. I was also kind of afraid. I'm like, okay, how am I actually going to put these items on units? But then I realized that you get a free remover, which is really nice. Covalent Spark seems crazy in this spot here. Not only is it a solid item on Cho'Gath to give me that MR Shred, but it does also scale with HP. So I'm going to do this. And the only downside is now this Crown Guard item is like kind of wasted. I end up putting on like Sejuani, which like, I don't know. I guess she's going to have like a bigger shield with the AP. It's probably not terrible, but I don't think it's ideal. But I just think the max HP, it's like 1.5% max HP healing per second on Cho'Gath, like has to be insane. And we already needed the Ionic Spark value. So this goes really well with our entire team. I am going to move the Sejuani up, and then at this point, I'm like, okay, why don't I just move the entire team up then? If I'm going to move Sej up and say, okay, I'll sack Gargoyle value a bit, but it's fine, especially because we're getting to the point in the game where like our Gargoyle might start dying. Also, I realized way too late, but this Nefiri should probably be dying so that it can go on like either Azir or Cho'Gath. If you guys don't know, Nefiri is a new unit that is a Darken. So you can see we have 1 of 2 Darken in. And what Nefiri gives when it dies... Does anyone know Nefiri's gender, by the way? Because I try to Google it so that I can be accurate, but I have no clue. But when Nefiri dies, the Darken item goes to, the closest unit, just like Azir, but the Darken item this time is whenever you cast, it does a little bit of physical damage. So it's kind of interesting. We get our items here. I really wanted, I don't know, some extra kind of damage item. I look at my components here. I forget what the Zeke's makes, but I don't think it was something very good, like what used to be Zeke's. So I end up just going for Hodge here. I think Hodge will probably be solid. We might need some healing onto this Cassio. We'll make her last a lot longer. I also just remember that I need to put this Ionic Spark in front of the Cassiopeia. The nice thing is that the Spark is a 3 hex range, but I mean, like, look at this fight, how low Cassiopeia gets from the GP. It ends up actually being a really good investment to go for this item on Cassiopeia. But yeah, I'm like looking like, oh, like Talia is probably a better unit, but like getting this, and now I see, but yeah, as you can see there, we can go back so you guys can see. The Darkened Dagger is what Nefiri gives to the other units. So after casting some pack mates that hit for 100 physical damage, so it's basically like when Nefiri dies, if it goes on to like Cho'Gath, then every time Cho'Gath casts, Cho's also gonna do 100 physical damage to Cho's target, which is pretty cool. I don't know if there's anything Giga Broken, maybe something with like this cat, like ideally I would get it to the Cassiopeia, but there's no way to like have Nefiri die and then be close enough to Cassiopeia for that to happen. I need like a Dark Flight or something for any TFT, not really boomers, TFT like millennials maybe, chat who remember Dark Flight, like I could sacrifice the Nefiri and then do it. But yeah, I see Shen in here, which I think is going to be my next addition. I think, okay, at 9 I can add Shen plus Cassante, and that would be really, really solid, and I'll get the Invoker in for my entire board, which looks really good, and just, Bastion for Cassante. So I think that's going to be my late game plan. I'm not sure if there's a better way to even cap out the board, and eventually we'll get in, like, Scion. But yeah, like, at this point, especially now that we can start looking to itemize Azir off the next few carousels, I feel like Azir is actually, like, or, like, Poor Shreema is actually starting to do some work, because I actually care about these units ascending. Item-wise here, I see this this Nashor's Tooth, I think it's still called, and I think that would go crazy on Azir, but we can't grab that, so I just end up taking a Bramble Vest here. I don't think the Night Harvester works very well in Azir. If you guys don't know what Night Harvester is, it's a new item as well, where it's like you gain like 12% increased damage, and then when you drop below 50% HP, you get more increased damage. I forget the exact number, but I don't think that really makes sense on Azir. He's going to be full HP like basically the entire fight. He'll get a little bit of damage increase. Now this board that I'm fighting, by the way, just want to point out, this person has a Rapid Light Cannon Mordekaiser 2, and my god, just watch this unit bonk, man. Mortdog was talking about how how Titans, or not Titans, but scope weapons, Mordekaiser might be strong. But look at this, 15,000 damage from this setup. If you guys haven't seen Mordekaiser, basically we can go back and look at the fight again. But his attacks do increased something like damage or something, and then when he casts, he gets bigger, gets a shield, and maybe like steals some stats or something. Okay, honestly, I should probably actually look up what he does. Look, 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 look. I've played like one day of PvE. Forgive me. But yeah, he's just like a big tanky guy that auto attacks a lot, but his autos hit really, really hard. None of these items are really like good to me, so I just end up taking another Crown Guard. I'm really okay. It is called Crown Guard. I've been actually saying it correctly the entire time, even though I was afraid I was saying it wrong. But yeah, I don't really like any of these items. Maybe you could convince me it was like a Titans. But yeah, you can see also just like this frontline Mordekaiser are going to do a similar thing where he's going to get big and keep autoing, get all of this healing. Also 50,000 Gangplank boats fly through because they're going to another board. If you guys don't know, Gangplank is super, super bugged on PvE right now. But yeah, I mean, just look at this Mord. He dealt 14,000 damage and was like nowhere close to killable, even though I had all my units on the same side. So I don't know. This is the game that made me think, okay, maybe this Mordekaiser unit is kind of strong. Sorry for blurring out my camera again. Maybe. Like, I don't know. This unit's like actually nutty. I assume he's gonna get nerfed. He didn't seem too crazy in the viewer lobbies that I played last night, but like in this game, he just looked gross. I think Gunblade is really solid here. I really, really wanted oh yeah, I really wanted a JG because I realized I have this remover. I can remove the Nashers, put it on Azir, and then put another item here. I really wanted like a JG, but it doesn't happen. But Guardbreaker is really solid as well because I have a decent amount of there's a decent amount of shielding on the enemy teams. But yeah, I want to roll down here, just find my upgrades. I'm pretty sure I should have like in this spot looked for something like stayed open to something like Sejuani 3 here, but I was just like too nervous about like rolling down for my board. But like I've hit all my major upgrades. Like you should definitely hold extra Azirs, extra Sejuanis, and then just go for that stuff 3-star because that's how I'm gonna beat like a lot of these really capped boards. Because like the board that I'm playing right now is really not that capped. When you play like one cost reroll, it tends to cap quite low. But yeah, like instead I get like kind of greedy here and just like roll down, like try to find all my upgrades. I mean, at this point I found everything. So like we are now done rolling for sure. But, you know, I could have had like 4 Sejuanis here, and maybe there's a way I could have hit Sejuani 3, or I could have held on to the Azir and maybe hit Azir 3. Though right now he has no items, but eventually he will have items. But yeah, you'll see like against this guy, like this Mordekaiser just does so much. And also we get one shot by Gangplank as well, which like I said, was he bugged here? I don't think so. No, that's definitely a bug. He just summoned like 50 yeah, he just summoned like 50 boats. He's supposed to summon 1 boat in that instance, but he summons like 1,000 and he just one-shot my entire backline. So yeah, this Gangplank unit, I mean, I would say use at your own risk, but it's honestly like really good just for you. Like, I don't think it can ever be bad. I don't know. I've seen what I thought were Gangplanks blowing up their own boards, but I don't know if that's actually true or if I was just seeing someone else's GP, because it's hard to know because GP can summon he can summon boats to your board and to other people's boards, which is not supposed to be. But yeah, you see here like something like this where he just summons like 50 boats. I'm pretty sure, like, do you see in this fight, like I think this is his own GP ulting himself. Like, does the other player have a GP here? I don't know. I guess we'll look, but like look at this. He summons a boat here, but then he summons these boats and they all just go crashing into his backline and just one-shot his backline, and that's the only reason we can win that fight. Like, if this other person that we fight doesn't have GP, I'm pretty sure that was his own GP killing his entire team, which is actually hilarious. Let's go for Gunblade here. Maybe it's garbage. But yeah, like, look, this person I don't think even has GP. So, like, yeah, unless they just took it out, I'm pretty sure his own GP just ulted his backline and killed all of his units, which is actually, you know, unfortunate for him, but hilarious. I mean, it's PvE. That's, you know, it exists to work out some of these issues. You know, honestly, after thinking about it for a while, shouldn't my Cho'Gath have always been in the middle? Because he's probably always going to shred the front line because of how, like, deep his shred is. But yeah, we end up fighting this board, which is just a capped, like, is it 8 Shurima board? I can't remember. But you see in a spot like this, like, if I had another Seg, yeah, it is 8 Shurima. Yeah, 8 Shurima, very, very strong with the changes that they've made to sort of like, oh, it's 9 Shurima. Oh, it's 2, 4, 6, 9. What? It's so weird. But yeah, like, now they really want it to be like, if you hit 9 of a trait, like 9 Shurima, 9 Noxus, 9 Demacia, like a prismatic trait, they really want to make it so that, like, if you hit that, you just, like, basically never lose. And that certainly seems to be, or, you know, like, your average placement should be something insanely high, and it definitely seems like that this game, because like that was insane. But yeah, like look at all the gold here. I'm pretty sure what should have happened this game is I should have hit Sejuani 3 and then maybe been able to beat that board and just have a Giga Tanky Sejuani or a Zir 3. But instead, like, because I didn't hold that Sedge earlier, I only have one Sedge, one Shen, and it's like actually pretty hard to hit everything here. They roll a couple of times here, hit another Shen, but also at this point, because so many people are dead, there's like no 4 costs out of the pool. Like ideally you want to hit this kind of stuff when everyone is still alive, because then like everyone's taking 4 costs out of the pool. But yeah, you see I hit 7 Shens, but it's just not enough. And I get like a JG here for Zir, which is pretty good. Not enough to beat the 9 Shurima, so it is a second for Cho Bidem. Still a very, very fun game, a very crazy game. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. I'll be streaming today, more TFT, more PvE, so go check me out. See you guys then. Bye.